Hi and welcome to the Running Hot Coaching video series. We're going to be talking about blister prevention and dealing with blisters once you've got them. Now there's a number of things that you can do to prevent blisters. One of the new things that I've discovered is a patch called Engo patches, which is E-N-G-O. Now these reduce the friction under the ball of the foot. So the ball of the foot is the place where you commonly get blisters. And these patches, if you look up on Google, E-N-G-O, Engo, these patches go on the inside of the shoe, so on the sole, and they're made of a material that reduces the friction between the foot and the shoe. Now there's another way of doing things, and that's to have two pairs of socks on. If you have two pairs of socks, the friction between the shoe and the foot is less because you've got an inside sock which is only rubbing against the outside sock, if that makes sense. Your inside sock should be quite tight fit, quite firm, obviously a good moisture wicking material to keep things away from the sweat away from the foot, and it goes, and over the second layer should be a normal running sock. This isn't too good though if you're in a really hot environment and you don't want to have your feet stuck in two pairs of socks, but that is a good way of dealing or preventing blisters if you're in perhaps a colder race or in the mountains or that sort of thing. For sand dunes and sand races and deserts, I've found Injinji socks to be really good. Now the Injinji are a bit like a glove. They've got all the toes, and the separation of the toes means that they aren't rubbing on each other and you don't get blisters on the inside of each toe. So that's another common area for blisters. Another thing that is common in multi-day stage races is that your feet swell horrendously, and indeed in 100k races and in 100-mile races. Now if you wear shoes that are okay when you're doing a 10k at your local park, they're probably not going to be big enough when you're actually in a desert race, especially if it's heat involved. Your feet swell. My feet actually swell up to 2 whole sizes, so I take shoes that are actually 2 to 2.5 sizes too big for me when I go to the desert, because I know my feet will swell, and if I don't, the blisters you get are going to be horrendous because your feet are swollen and your feet are they're in shoes that are then too small for you. So that's another tip. Wear shoes that are bigger than your normal street shoes in any case if you're doing any long distance running. Another product you would have heard of is Compeed, very good once you've got a blister to put over the affected area. Now if I'm doing a multi-day race, I typically deal with the blister as best I can. I don't rip the skin off around the blister. There's some debate, some doctors prefer to do that. I don't think it's a good idea. I pop the blister, try and let it air out if I've got time, dry it off as best as possible, then leave the skin on the blister. So leave the flappy skin on there, it'll dry against and give you a bit of a protective barrier. Disinfect the area, tape it up as best you can with the likes of Compeed and other bandages or other plasters, and then don't take them off until the end of the race, even if it's in a few days' time. If you open it up every night and try and clean it, that's when you'll get the infections in. So if you can, tape it up really well and just leave it till the race is completely over and you can deal with your feet. Another thing, when you're going out into racing and you feel a blister coming, and it's a real pain in the butt to have to stop and deal with it, but if you don't stop, even if it's early on in the race and you just want to keep going and you're hoping that it'll go away, it won't go away. Stop, take the time, deal with the blister, and then get back out on the trail. You'll regret it if you don't. So that's a few things for you: blister prevention, dealing with blisters. Good luck out there and have fun on the trails.